Hey, buddy. Back about, I guess it was long about 2007, 2008. The people that lived here, that owned this place here, also owned the campground down there below there. I think it was called Rainbow something. Rainbow Camp.
We've only been here 2 years.
Okay, so it's done been sold and resold, and
Oh yeah.
ain't no telling who owns it now. But I mean,
Yeah, I don't know who owns the campground. I had heard that though when we bought this house.
yeah,
That whoever, there's a lady that I talked to. She said this used to be a clubhouse,
yeah,
like way back when.
yeah.
And it owned that campground. But apparently, the folks who owned the campground and this clubhouse at the time
Must have sold out and moved on.
Well, they weren't honest in their dealings with people and their money.
Okay.
And I think people started leaving because of how, at least this is what she told me, because of how they were doing folks. And I think it kind of went down to where they had to sell out.
Really?
Yeah, that's what one lady said. She lives out in Graves County. She said that she and her husband, her late husband, used to spend a lot of time over here, clubhouse, because this actually used to be a street that went around. So she told me a little bit about it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know all that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I have no clue. When we bought it, we bought just this house and the acreage attached to it, and those two cabins on the front. They were part of it, but we didn't buy those, so they sold those separately. So I think over the years it's been kind of
Cut up.
Yeah, cut up and divided.
Yeah. I see. Well, I had some trouble up there a few years ago whenever I was staying at that campsite. I don't know if there was a lot of drugs in this campsite or what it was back years ago, but the guys that owned it, I think they was gay.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, the guys that owned it are two gay guys.
Yeah, it was two gay guys. And somehow or another, I wound up with two sheriff's deputies and two FBI agents and two TVI agents. And I don't know, it was about 7 or 8 freaking cops that wound up down here at my campsite long about 2007 questioning me about a bunch of stuff. I mean, you know, I didn't know that it was a drug-infested campsite. And I see you got that emblem in behind your truck right there. Are you associated with law some way or another?
Yeah, I'm a sheriff's deputy.
Are you? In this county?
Yes, Callaway.
In Callaway County?
Yes.
Really? Well, that's good to know. Did you know about the drug activity years ago?
No, see, we've only lived in this area 4 years. So we're not from here.
Oh, you're not even from Kentucky?
No, from Middle Tennessee.
Oh, from Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
See, I'm Tennessean myself.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm from Goodlettsville, just north of Nashville.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash's area.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know where that is. Beautiful area in Tennessee.
It's real nice.
This is a good area if you just want to get by yourself and stay by yourself and not be bothered by nobody.
That's it. Yeah, that's why we bought here. Yeah.
See, I had no earthly idea who owned it now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of doing a little investigating work myself towards going over some areas that I went over before.
Okay.
But yeah, I had no idea that the drug inducement was like it was.
Yeah, apparently, and some of the guys at the sheriff's office, they told me, they said it used to be, it's still here, but it's not near as bad as what it was about a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
So, but apparently, yeah, they had some shady things going on around here.
They must have had, because somehow or another I wound up with about 8 cops, and 2 or 3 of them was from this county, Callaway County, questioning me about the Kentucky Dam.
Wow.
Yeah. Where exactly is the sheriff's office? It's over by the court.
It's not far from. It's on Olive Street.
Olive Street.
Yeah. So if you're going into town on 94, and once you get to 4th Street, take a left. Excuse me, a right, and right as you go down the little hill, Olive Street's on the left.
If I had an incident that happened that far back, would it still be on the books or still be on the database?
I would think so. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, they keep a pretty good backlog of stuff.
They do.
Yeah. Of course, you've got computer systems, so everything.
Well, how could I go about getting a copy of that? That happened that night.
You might can call down there, and there may be somebody who, do you have a case number or anything like that?
I do not.
Yeah, you probably call down there and just kind of tell them the situation where you were.
And what happened?
They might be able to look it up.
But that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, and some of those guys have been there. There may be some of the guys that are still there that might have even been a part of it.
May have been.
So there's one guy that's been there. Oh gosh, he's been there a while. Definitely over 10 years.
Okay.
Been there that long.
Okay.
So,
But it is over by the court square.
yeah, it's not far from
Yeah. Did y'all ever resolve that issue pertaining to that monument there on the court square?
Well, the fiscal court put out their own statement about it as to what they would do, but the protesters are still protesting, raising a ruckus. So, in the county's eyes, it's settled, but the people that are still offended by it, it's not settled because it didn't settle the way they wanted it to.
I got you.
But a lot of it was dying down. But then college came back in session, and these college students that are activists, they got nothing,
Got nothing else to
got
do.
nothing better to do, And it's really hurt the farmers market down there too. Talking to the lady that runs that.
Really?
It's really hurt, because people don't want to risk coming down there because they see the protests and stuff that's happened around the country.
They don't want to get harassed.
And they don't want to get harassed, and they don't want to put themselves in a dangerous position.
Sure.
And that's understandable.
Do you know any of the people that work with law enforcement in the Land Between the Lakes?
I don't. But
I can tell you're a naturist. You love it out here, don't
Oh
you?
man, I love it. See, I grew up on about 70 acres with my family, my aunt and uncle, and cousins, grandparents, and parents in Goodlettsville. And that's why I bought it. I was like, man, this reminds me of home.
You may even know Johnny Cash.
No,
Or know some of his people
I don't know.
that
Yeah,
was
but
kin to
I
him or
knew
something.
where he was, of course.
Got that big old lake and stuff back there.
Well, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees bought his place when he and June died.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then they had a fire out there, and so he had to start all over. But yeah, the lead singer on the Bee Gees, that's his place now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I sure didn't know that.
So, beautiful place.
Yeah, it was beautiful then. That was like in 2005.
Yeah.
Whenever I was out there. And of course, Johnny was still living at that time.
Yeah.
But there was some sort of a private school out there. I don't know if it was for girls
Well, I don't know.
or what it was out there, but I was very intrigued about how that they took care of people in that county.
Yeah, they were.
Of course, whenever you got that kind of money in the county,
Yeah. Oh,
people can just about do whatever they want to do whenever it comes to privatizing schools and privatizing this and doing that.
Yeah.
That's one thing you won't find in this county.
Yeah.
Now, around here, you better be settled for the squirrels and the raccoons.
That's it. Of course, deer season's coming up, so there's something to look forward to.
Yep. Does very many people know you live back here?
I don't know.
I wouldn't advertise it
No, I don't.
because there's a lot of shadiness that goes on up here. You know that, don't you?
Oh yeah.
In other words, I tell you what, whenever I come up through here, during that time, there was a period for about 4 or 5 years to where suicides was prominent and people's houses burning was prominent. Yeah, meth and drugs and stuff like that.
The good thing is we've made some big strides on
Cleaning
knocking
it
a lot
up.
of that down, but it's still around.
Sure.
But yeah, a lot of it's not as bad as it once was, but it's still there. So that's the good part. You gain some ground, and of course, we're fortunate that we don't have politicians that try to tie our hands.
Right. Where's your big old boat and stuff at, man? You got it sitting in a slip somewhere?
Nah, I don't get on the lake much.
You need to take that up.
Well, I thought about it, but you know, I've got a daughter that's she's finishing up basic training and AIT with the Army, so you know, kind of watching her grow up that keeps you busy.
I understand. Keeping your priorities straight for right now.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe one of these days.
Yeah.
Just take it a bit at a time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
You seem like a young guy that's got his head on right, and I didn't know if those guys had moved. I know that I had come up here one other time since that event happened in 2007 with all those cops.
Yeah.
I'd come up here one other time and talked to the guy, and man, he had such of a freaking attitude. He basically run me off. He said, "You're the guy that all them cops come down there to." I said, "Yeah, I'm him. Get the hell off my property." You know, he was just all crazy like.
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to those guys. So, they've been gone for a while, from what I've been told.
As many drugs and what they was doing, they may not be alive.
Well, that's true too. 'Cause when we bought this place, people we bought it from, they had lived here for 2 years, and then they had to move to Kansas, I think it was, where their family was from, because they had aging parents that they had to take care of.
Yeah.
So that's how we came across it.
How many cases do y'all have up here in Caldwell County pertaining to the Covo? 30, 40?
No, we've had over 200 cases.
You have?
Yeah. But, not but like 12 deaths. Of course, those have been people with comorbidities. And, the first death we had was a guy that had kidney failure, diabetes, COPD, a host of other issues. So,
Sure.
He was primed just to be taken down.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, most people that look after themselves are healthy, they do all right with it and recover.
They say, though, that even after you recover from it, you ain't never really truly recovered from it.
Yeah,
it can leave indefinite, in
like
lung damage and stuff. Yeah.
Too. But I talked to the CEO of the hospital, and he said the people that tend to have diabetes struggle with it more than others.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it probably come from the pits of hell. I think somebody in the laboratory made it up myself.
Oh yeah, and they let it out. That's a different type of warfare.
Yeah.
Something we're not so used to.
Yeah, biological warfare.
That's it.
But did you know that that's one of the things that our military is most frightful of?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because if people know what they're doing, they can literally disintegrate a whole society. Ain't that something? Microscopically. Something that you can't even freaking see.
Yeah. People have gotten too smart for their own good.
Playing God.
God, yep, exactly.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yep. Good talking to you, sir. What's your name?
Steven.
Stephen? Good seeing you, Stephen.
All right, take care.
Yes, sir.